I'll record this in shade. So to start with, random variables is a discrete probability distribution that aligns numbers to probabilities. So when you're calculating the random variables, I'll give you an example. This is one of the easiest probability distributions where I can simply do my calculations without saying a word. So you're given values of x as 1, 2, and 3. And the probabilities here are 0.4, 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3. And you'll be asked to calculate three things. Number one, find the expected value. Number two, find the variance. Number three, you'll be asked to find the standard deviation. And finally, number four, you'll be asked to find the probability x is greater than 2. So this is carrying 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, that's 8 marks. So to start with, you're going to come up with this table here. You transpose it. We have values 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the respective probabilities that are given here, the probabilities must always add up to what? 1. So we have 0.4, we have 0.1, 0.2, and we have 0.3. The total here, make sure is adding up to 1. Now, to find the mean, you simply multiply the values of x times the probability.
Collins, I have a question.
Please.
Sorry. I know. What if the probabilities don't add up to 1?
They should always add up to 1. It's a random variable, that's a prerequisite. This example here, you can see this is 3 plus 3, this is 6 plus 4, this is 1. They always add up to 1. So you should never have a situation where probabilities, unless the question is wrong. Please be brave enough to ask the examiners to give you the correct question script. They always add up to 1. All right, cool. So
which shape?
So this is 2021 December. That is last year's paper. Right. Please don't interrupt. Let's get the concept. So when you multiply this number by the probability, we get 0.4. 2 times 0.1, what do we get? 0.2. 3 times 0.2, we get 0.6. And finally, 4 times 0.3, we get 1.2. The sum of this column is what we call the mean, or the expected value, or the mu. So when we total up this column, what we get is 2.4. So our expected value, therefore, is denoted by, you can use the letter E, not summation, E and an X there. So our expected value is 2.4. In this column, we're going to square the values of X. 1 times 1, 1. 2 times 2, 4. 3 times 3, 9. 4 times 4, 16. And what you do is you multiply them with the probabilities. So 1 times 0.4, you put a 0.4 here. 4 times 0.4, we put a 0.4 there. 9 times 0.2, we put 1.8 there. 16 times 0.3, what we get? 4.8. Then you're going to total up this column. This is called the summation of what? X squared px. So totaling this up here, we're going to get 7.4. So this is not the variance, but when you subtract the mean squared from it, what we're going to get is called our variance. So the variance is simply given by the letter Vx. It's a summation of x squared px minus the mean that we found, which is summation of what? X px to the power 2. So our summation of x squared was 7.4 and the mean was 2.4. So we're going to say 7.4 minus 2.4 squared. So what we get when we multiply 2.4 squared, we get 5.76. So when you subtract the 5.76 from the value we got, which is 7.4, the answer we're going to get is 1.64. So this is what we call our variance. So the variance is 1.64. Any questions before I proceed? So quick recap, what we did is we transpose this, we get the values of x, and the probabilities of x should always add up to 1. When you multiply the values of x and the probability, we're going to get the summation of xpx. This is what we call our mean. We'll just total up this column. We just did this by multiplying the x times the px, x, px, x, px, and we sum up. This is our mean. You get your 2 marks there. Any questions on finding the mean? Is it clear? Thereafter, you square this column.
Is there any other formula apart from this one for finding the variance?
No, the mean or the variance?
The variance.
This is the only formula. Unless you want to use a long cut, I'm still talking about the mean. Please don't ask questions ahead of what I haven't explained. We're still here on the mean. The only other way you could find the mean without using the table is simply by using the formula mean or expected value is simply summation of x px. So you can simply start multiplying the figures. 1 times the probability 0.4 plus 2 times the probability 0.2, 2 times 0.1, 3 times 0.2, 0.1, 3, 0.2, and finally 4, 0.3. When you multiply this, the mean you're going to get is 2.4. And for the variance, if you don't want to use a table, you simply say the variance we're going to find will be summation of x squared px minus summation of x, px to the power 2. Now these ones are longer if you're not using the table, but if you're okay with that, you still do the same. 1 times 0.4, you square the 1, plus 2 times 0.1, you square the 2, plus 3 times 0. 0.3 times 0.2, you square the 3, plus 4 squared times 0.3, and minus the mean we just found, which was 2.4 squared. It's literally the same thing. Final answer you're going to get is 1.64. That is the only other way you can find the variance. Is that clear? Anyone behind? And we know that whenever we are square rooting the variance, the name becomes what? Standard deviation. So what's the square root of 1.64?
$1.281.
1.281. Finally, you're being asked to find the probability greater than 2. Which numbers are greater than 2 here? X is greater than 2. Which numbers are greater than 2 here? Probability of 3 and probability of what? 4. What is the probability of 3? 0.2. What's the probability of 4? 0.3. When we add these two, we get 0.5. Is that clear? Okay. So you can screen grab this. What is the mean of the distribution? You know what to do. You get your 2 marks. What is the variance? 2 marks. What is the standard deviation? You get your 2 marks, which is 4. And find the probability, at least 1. At least 1 means greater or equal to 1. So you get your total 8 marks. Do you know what to do? Can anyone fill this question?
Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
You see the at least means what?
At least means that number and above. So at least 2, it means 2 and above. At least 3, it means 3 and above. Okay. So are we together? So at least 1 means 1 going up. Any other questions? So at least 2, at least 1 means add probability of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So I'll end here for now. I'll send you the recording and the homework on the group. Have a good evening.